Here's what happened, guys. It's been more than 20 years since the last federal budget has been balanced. A lot of our welfare programs have tripled in the last 20 years. And we are now over $39 trillion in national debt on a federal level. So things are not working for the status quo. And we have to look at massive change and revolutionary ideas to be able to move forward and turn America's future into a small business renaissance. Because what would it be like if we could have 10% of the federal budget allocated towards welfare programs rather than over 30%? And I can't even get a exact percentage on that for how much goes towards these welfare programs. Because what we have seen is a lot of abuse of these systems, a lot of taking advantage of these systems. And it has created, not just within these programs, but also in our overall economy, we have a parasitic economy right now. And what is happening is it's impacting younger Americans dramatically. Gen Z is the most in-debt generation for their age group in the history of the United States. And so we got a lot of messes to clean up. And I do believe America's future leaders are small business owners. But we've got to be able to unite with clarity of understanding the truth and figuring out new ways to move forward into the future. So welcome back to the RD Week show. Happy Thursday, guys. What I want to share with you first is the national debt clock. We're bringing that back up here. So please be patient with me here, guys. Let me get this up. It's going to take a little while here. And then please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the show. And please leave your comment. It helps get this show out to more people. And then it helps me to move faster towards being able to hire a producer for the show so that it doesn't take this long to get this stuff up. Okay, so as you can see here on the top left, the national debt is over $39 trillion. And the interest on that debt, if we can just go on down here towards, if you can't see it, the interest is now over $1 trillion. And so it's absurd, the amount of money that's going just to interest alone. And this has been a mess that has been kicked down the road for future generations. And it is time, it is not fair, but it is time for us to step up here and address these major challenges because younger Americans are feeling it. We have an aging population that is growing. As I said, these welfare programs have tripled. Some of them have tripled in the last 20 years. And so we are at a moment now in history where massive change is unfolding. We feel that there is a lot of chaos that is out there, and stability is the antidote to chaos. And so we've got to understand first the truth of what is going on here, the abuse of the taking advantage of the systems. We've talked about how Medicare and Medicaid, there is tens of billions of dollars in fraud there, to then the fraud that came out of Minnesota, California's fraud. There's more than just those states too, but those are some that we've covered. So it has created this, as I said, parasitic economy that is going to at some point get shut off here. For instead of being making it where it's it's a tough one to say three times, parasitic economy, we have to now shift that economy and turn America's future into a small business renaissance. And this goes back to what would happen if we get 10% of the federal budget to be allocated towards welfare programs rather than over 30%. What could that look like? And so what I want to share with you is, again, I'm going to go to AI here, Gronk, to be able to show you guys that it's around 35, 40% or more. But you can think for Social Security, we talked about how the Congressional Budget Office has estimated that by 2032, Social Security is going to be insolvent. And then you got these major health programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and then we get to SNAP, food benefits, Section 8 housing. There is there has to be a change here, because the path that we're leading down towards is more disaster, more chaos, the system can't handle it, and we're seeing that. I mean, it's in our face, obvious that that's the truth here. And so, what can we do as a society? Well, we can get back to these principles of discipline, of figuring out how to simplify our environments, to get out of these, to get rid of these vices that are in our society, and be able to get back to that discipline and integrity, and not trying to take advantage of the system, but thinking about how can we support each other in our communities. How can we keep more of our money as small business owners to be able to then decide how we allocate that, rather than the government taking that money. And so that could go back to figuring out where does it not make sense for certain taxes, and to be able to reduce those. Thinking back to payroll tax as an example. We talked about that yesterday. This is a moment, and it's not crazy to get into these conversations and ask these questions, because this is a moment where massive change is unfolding, and we've got to think about these revolutionary ideas for how we can now shape the future of the economy moving forward. How can we make it easier for Americans to start small businesses and to steward small businesses for decades rather than a few months? How can we make sure we're preparing younger Americans for the future, and to be able to improve their quality of life for not just themselves, but their families, but their communities, to be able to continue to achieve the American dream, because we have so much opportunity here in this country, and there is so much potential. But how it looks is that we have gotten into a lot of big messes, like our national debt being over $39 trillion, that are really hurting younger Americans. And so moving forward, there is going to be more chaos, but we also have so much potential here to move through that chaos and turn America's future into small business renaissance. And so thinking back to what does our country look like with 10% budgeted towards welfare programs for federal budget, and then where are other areas that we can reduce spending, like national debt, or like the military budget. What effect would that have on the national debt? Because as small business owners, I do believe America's future leaders are small business owners, and we have to hold our elected officials accountable. We, as Americans, have to unite moving forward on getting back to principles of living and communicating in integrity, being able to do what is right over what is easy and convenient. And is it fair? Absolutely not. It's not fair. No, but we have to get back to fairness, and we have to set our next generations up for success, our kids and grandkids moving forward, because the path that we're headed down is a path of more chaos if we keep going down the path of status quo. And as I said, stability is the antidote of chaos, and we have to get back to that stability for our country and addressing these massive problems, and we can't hide from them or run away from them. So if you are a small business owner who wants to connect with other small business owners in person to shape the future of our country, you can join us for A Future Fest. This is where you can register at afuturefest.com. It is happening in Charleston, South Carolina on January 14th to 15th, 2027. The plans have over 300 small business owners coming from across the country and across industries. And when you can get different perspectives across industries, you can start to notice similar patterns to the challenges you're dealing with. And then from there, you can be better prepared for the chaos of the future by creating not just stability within the business, but then stability within your life. Because as I said, stability is the antidote of chaos. So excited to hopefully see you there at that event. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow.